Welcome back. Citroen has been quietly going about its business in New Zealand for many years, selling 4 or 5 cars a week, 200, 250 a year. But this year, under the new direction of divisional manager Simon Rose, it is looking at sales of perhaps 400. Welcome, Simon.
Hi, Alastair. Nice to see you.
It's a pretty ambitious target.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, it's quite an ambitious target for us for the brand. But as you pointed out, Citroen's really been quite small in this part of the world in New Zealand. We took things over as an importer back in February 2013, and we've been sort of pretty much flat out since then. So got some fairly ambitious goals. We did 300 units exactly last year, which was a 20% growth, which was a nice start. And this year we've obviously put in place 2 or 3 things which would be good to talk about to try and enable us to grow some 50%. So
you got the model range you want?
Yeah, I mean, when we started out, there was 3 sort of things that we looked at for the business. The first of those was really to rationalise the product range and to look at pricing. I think there was something like 21 models on range when we picked it up. And if you consider the number of cars we're doing, that really didn't make sense. No. So the first thing we did is rationalise the range and realign the pricing. So we're now down to about 12 models.
So coming up in April is the 80th anniversary of Traction Avant, which is basically French for front wheel drive, isn't it?
Correct, it is.
So you're going to obviously try and leverage off that too. This is a significant year when you take into account that the original Traction Avant was the first monocoque chassis in mass production.
Right.
First independent front suspension.
Right.
All right. He achieved all sorts of things.
Yeah, I mean, Citroen has an amazing history, you know.
Yeah.
And if we talk about that a little bit, obviously you've pointed out there is an 80th anniversary for the Traction Avant, and the timing of that is perfect because it's in the lead up over Anzac weekend.
Yep.
I was talking before about one of our changes with distribution. We opened a very large retail outlet in Auckland, which is Continental Cars in Green Lane, and they have a very, very large dealership. And we're looking to have, I guess, a collection of the best Traction Avants on the Sunday over Anzac weekend to come. So hopefully a few people, if they're interested in some of that and the history, can come along and have a look. So, you know, the history really with Citroen is something quite special. I mean, it dates right back to 1919 as a brand. And I think, you know, for those of you who are into history, Andre Citroen obviously, you know, established and founded the business, and I think a lot of the philosophies that he had originally in most countries people are still trying to keep alive, and certainly that's something I'm aware of. He's a very innovative guy.
The story goes, whether it's urban myth, who knows, but he was inspired to concentrate on the development of front-wheel drive. Correct. Now the story goes, as I said, he was helping a friend or whatever, 3 or 4 of them moving into a Paris apartment, and they were shifting a piano upstairs, perhaps the top floor, whatever, and they laid down planks and they were pushing it up. And he thought of the idea, well, this is pointless, we pull it up. So then transferred that to said, do we pull the car along by the front wheels or do we push it by the...
Right.
And then ultimately it happened that way. You got rid of your drivetrain, which meant the packaging was better. There were many doubts in the automotive world back then about the safety of the original Traction Avant, so they thought they'd, forerunner of established car crash safety tests, they pushed it off a cliff.
And
it survived.
Okay.
So they figured
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
So some of those things I'd heard, which are certainly urban myth, but yeah, I think the nice thing you know, about Citroen is it does, you know, has learned a lot from its past and its history, and you know, the brand promise, if you like, or the tagline is creative technology, and that's something that I think stems from its history, and you know, it means that every vehicle in the range just has something a little bit unique, you know, and we can talk about that a little bit, but for models like the C3 and some of the entry models, that means having a zenith roof, you know, and more of a windscreen.
Which is your big panoramic roof.
Yeah, that's right, and right the way through to, for example, with Grand Picasso, which we've just launched, 7-seater, and that has a 360-degree camera, or DS5.
Top Gear family car of the year, wasn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So we're very, very pleased about that. Just recently launched, but it's nice to see and to work with a business that does actually, I guess, look backwards to work out how to go forwards.
Sure. So there's another French connection here, and that's you sponsor the French Film Festival.
Correct, yeah.
All right. What do we got here? This is espresso cups straight from France, right?
Yeah, well, I thought I'd bring in a couple of espresso cups. We do have quite a large sort of merchandise range in some of the dealerships. So we thought for some of your viewers, you might want to ask them a question or two about the history.
So if you want some French espresso monogrammed, Citroen monogrammed coffee cups in your kitchen, write to me at editor@automotivenews.co.nz and tell us, when did Andre Citroen start the company? Again, that's editor@automotivenews.co.nz and just tell us, when did Andre Citroen start the company? Simon, there's another surprise package here. Now this has got something to do with the French festival, right? Explain that to me.
Yeah, I guess, look, I talked earlier about sort of two things that we've done with the business in terms of rationalising the range and pricing and also distribution. But the third thing, of course, in New Zealand was to improve, awareness, in general, top of mind awareness for the brand. And I guess what we've done there is taken a little bit of a strategy of taking the car to the people. We've got an events-based strategy. And part of that involves a number of sponsorships.
Mm-hmm.
The one you've just pointed out is actually both in New Zealand and Australia. And that is that we're a silver sponsor of the French Film Festival. And look, I had a long look at the proposal for that, and we decided as a team, the small team that we are, that it was going to be a real opportunity for us because of the growth that the French Film Festival had in New Zealand. You go back a couple of years and I think they had a total audience of about sort of 3,500.
Yes.
This year they'll get over 30,000,
Yeah,
or in around
okay.
30,000. So really good opportunity. So what we're doing is we've got I guess when people actually go to, like all good sponsorships, they need to be leveraged. So for those people who go along, there is actually, of course, a bit of an advert or an advertorial.
Citroen, créative technologie.
Okay, so the film festival is nationwide.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's something like 500 screenings across the country. Goes from Auckland all the way down to as far as Arrowtown. So that was why we sort of thought it was a good opportunity to spread the good word about what Citroen was doing.
Well, look, to recap, Simon, you're 180% up on last year's numbers.
Yeah, it's about 185% up this time last year. So
Okay.
as of the end of February, and
So the first 2 months.
yeah, the first 2 months we're on sort of 92 units. And
Did you-
we're over 100 now, I guess, as we head to
Did you
March.
expect that? That's
We did,
strong sales.
yeah,
really.
we did plan, I guess, with an expectation and a target 50% for the year. You've got to have a fast start,
Yeah.
and the best sort of start really is for the car industry is January, February, and March are strong months for us. So we planned for that, and so far so good. So
Well,
long
good
may
luck.
it continue. Thank
Good
you.
luck. Good luck. We'll have you back later in the year. Tell us how you
Okay,
went.
thanks for your time. Cheers, Alastair.
We'll be back in a second.